Bible study will take you on a journey through God's Word, and it's the journey that God took us on in order to bring healing in our life and in our marriage. We're Christians, and we believe that it's in trusting Jesus and making the Bible and Jesus' life practical that's key to understanding God, His plan, and His ways.
Carlene and I, we've been married for 28 years now, and when we first got married, we were like a typical young couple, and we were in love with each other, and we had expectations of what marriage was going to be like. I had my expectations, and Carlene had her expectations. And after a few months, years, we began to see that our expectations weren't coinciding with each other. But one of the things as a guy I began to understand is, and not until later, is that I didn't really have a clue what my wife's needs were and how unhappy she was in our marriage. And she came to me finally and told me that she wasn't happy in our marriage and she wasn't fulfilled in our physical relationship that we were having. God also began to use His Word in my life. There's a few verses, but one verse in particular that really stood out was that I was supposed to love Carlene in the same way that Jesus loved the church. And Jesus loved the church by dying to His needs to meet the needs of the church. And I needed to do the same thing with Carlene, is to die to my needs to meet her needs. And that had to become a priority in my life and in our marriage together. And I began to see, changes begin to occur in our relationship and Carlene's happiness because I was beginning to prioritize her needs.
It was known that I was part of the True Love Waits ministry and that it was encouraging people to make choices for sexual purity. Eventually it led to my being invited to a ladies' conference, and I was asked to present to these women sexual purity. And so I began to pray. I said I accepted that, and I began to pray about it. And as I was preparing, I realized, this is a very different audience. I'm talking to mostly married women about sexual purity, and what is it that I need to say? Our thinking about sex is a bit out of the box. And what we believe, what we believe about sex is out of the box from contemporary thinking, and even from Christian thinking. And so I knew that I had to be accurate biblically, but I also felt strongly that I needed to be accurate to Greg's experience as well as my experience and to our beliefs.
And as Carlene began to develop this, the Bible study, Redeeming Sexual Love, the principles in it I began to use in the teaching that I do with the African church leaders. And I began to hear from them as I challenged them in God's principles of marriage and relationships, that I began to see that they were also challenged to begin to think differently about how that they treated each other and how their marriages were and that sort of thing. And we began, as God used these principles and we began to see the power that it had to change our marriage, we began to look for opportunities, and God brought opportunities across our path to share the things that we had learned and the things that were in the Redeeming Sexual Love Bible study with other marriage couples. And we began to hear their responses to it, of how that was beginning to change their marriages and how they treated each other and how that they needed to think about what the other person's needs were. And that was something that challenged them as it did us.
asking you to vote. If you think that you would like to see Redeeming Sexual Love completed and published soon, then we would just ask you to vote for us. You can vote every day until the competition is completed. We feel strongly that no matter what one's experience has been, this Bible study can change people's lives and relationships, even their sexual relationship, in a way which is not threatening or scary. God created sex with very good intentions. We believe that with all of our hearts. We'd like for you to be able to believe that and experience it.